Okay, kids, it's time to finish your bong rip and get ready for the return of the greatest music ever created and how it ruined our lives.
What's your favorite part of doing the Testament thing?
Well, right now it's definitely performing live and having the fact that we have close to the original members. I would consider Paul being an original member because he was the first one after Louis left and has been in and out of the band a few times. So I would say that is the thing, us being able to do something that we started, so many years ago, and especially on this tour here, we're playing the Legacy, something that we never just planned to do that,
Now, how did you pick that album? Of all the
albums, they wanted Practice We Preach, and they wanted something 20 years old. And we're like, well, 20 years wasn't practice.
Who's they?
Well, because Megadeth's doing their Rest in Peace,
right?
So they wanted something,
Oh, really? So they actually suggested to you guys do one of your albums?
Yeah, and they wanted to actually do Bonded, but Bonded's longer than their time slot, so they decided not to do it. But for us, we're like, yeah, let's do it. And for me, it's like, hey, man, maybe some of these new generation fans that maybe don't know Testament or just happen to come to the show, kind of give them a sense of what we're about when we started, because this is the first 10 songs we toured with ever.
What's the best smoking town on tour?
The best smoking town?
I know you don't smoke as much as you did, but I think you know a lot about it. What would be a town that you
San Francisco is the most.
drummers
San
and
Francisco is the most smoking town.
San Francisco, your hometown.
Hometown.
Are you just saying that because it's your
the
hometown?
best. It's the best.
If you
Always
were from
consistent.
Dallas, but if you were from Dallas, would you be saying it's Dallas?
No, nope. Because Dallas had bunkweed.
Is there something that you'd want to say to the heavy metal fans of the world that you haven't been asked in an interview, or you haven't had the chance to say, or just maybe a philosophy you don't think's right? Like, is there something you'd like to say out there that you haven't had a venue to say?
Buy more records. Buy more of our records.
Buy more of our records. You want to touch us?
There you go. That's it.
You
straight
can't
up.
be more honest than that.
Come to the concerts. Buy more records.
Okay, have fun.
There you go.
We have to go because I think Dave Mustaine's probably going to have me thrown off the property. He saw me laughing a little earlier, and that could be a total infraction.
Uh-oh.
We're going to try to find him. So, all right, thank you so much.
Yeah, Carl, I don't see him over here anywhere. If Mustaine gets on my ass one more time, I think I'm out of here. But I'm going to go check that North Farty lot, make sure he's not hanging out by the dressing room.
Dave Ellefson.
We're going up the stairs of rock and roll heaven to talk to Dave Ellefson because I think I've already scared Dave Mustaine, so he's hiding from me now. But Ellefson doesn't scare easily. So we're going to talk to him about the Rust in Peace tour and what it all means to him to be back in Megadeth. And then we'll get back to the drinking and smoking. Here with Dave Ellefson once again, longtime friend of the greatest music ever created and how it ruined our lives. David, I told you you'd be back in Megadeth at the Heaven and Hell show this last summer. You looked at the friend that was with you and said to him and pointed at me, "This guy's crazy."
You are crazy. And I am back in Megadeth.
Are you still surprised?
I guess my thought is, I hope this would always happen. I guess, you've been hanging around me and Dave for many, many years, so we've been in a band for a lot of years. You've been on a tour bus with us. You toured with us in Europe when we did the Peace Cells tour with Megadeth, and Flotsam and Jetsam was with us, right? Many, 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 many years ago. Our first European tour.
I did Euthanasia too. That whole summer Euthanasia tour.
You did?
With Korn and
I don't remember.
There was
that.
a drifting of philosophies.
Yeah.
Who do you think benefits most from you rejoining Megadeth? Is it Dave? Is it you? Is it us, the fans?
We all do. And I think that's the deal, is that for someone to win, meaning someone has to lose, then that's no good. When everyone wins, that's the way it's supposed to be. In order for everything to line up the way that it did, was something that neither Dave could plan or I could plan. And I think that's the beauty of it, And I think this 20th anniversary Rust in Peace tour is something that just came at a moment in time. I mean, as you know, this is going to be a big year with the big 4 shows in Europe. Slayer, Megadeth, co-headlining a big arena tour this year. And it's ironic that when that got pushed back because of Tom Arai's surgery, my first thought was, I should call Dave. Because it just hit me like, man, this might be the parting of the tides right here. You know what I mean?
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
pass, obviously, I got
And
this
you got
far.
back here
I
again.
got
Okay,
this
that's
far.
good. Come on, buddy.
The interesting thing to me with all you guys' history, the good, the bad, you guys were practically kids. I mean, how old were you when you started to record Killing Is My Business? 22?
Not even. I mean, I was
21?
18 when I met Dave.
Okay,
He was
so you're not
21.
even- okay.
And that was in
So-
83. We got a record deal. We started recording Killing like a year and a half later. So I guess I was maybe 20.
Okay, so through all that, you're 20 years old when you met. You guys have done every drug together. You've gone through religions practically.
I still
together.
wasn't old enough
You
to
got-
drink, by the way.
Not old enough to drink, all that stuff. When you're on stage playing and looking over at him, what's really going through your mind? Is it like a whoa, or is it, what the hell, I'm up here with this jerk again, or I'm so glad that...
No, it
You know,
definitely
feelings
isn't
are like,
that.
what-
It
but what
isn't
do you
that.
feel when you look over
here's the
that?
thing.
It's gotta be
Dave
feeling-
is a very intense guy. And when I first met him, because keep in mind, this is 83, I've just moved from small town, middle America, out to Hollywood. And, the predecessors for me were bands like Van Halen and groups like that, Kiss even before that. So by the time I get to LA, there's a whole new movement happening, which is mostly Motley Crue, Rat, Ozzy, of course, because he'd picked a lot of LA-based musicians to be in his band. So that whole thing is happening, and then I meet Dave about, a week after I lived there, and Dave is cut from a whole different cloth. And there's something very different about him. I mean, first of all, I could tell right away he's the real deal. Because, you go to the Troubadour, you go to various places around Hollywood, you see a lot of people, they all look like Vince Neil, or they look like Nikki Sixx or Blackie Lawless, right? And they're people who want to be. Dave is a guy who really is, and there's a big difference with that. So when I sit and he starts playing for me the first couple songs that he had, which was a song called Megadeth, which ironically is Set the World Afire from So Far So Good So What. And the second song he played for me was what became Devil's Island. And so as he's playing these songs, I'm looking at him, hair hanging in his face, the way he kind of has a very kind of raw, heavy grip on the guitar.
Holds the guitar up.
Yeah, and I'm watching him play, and I'm like going, wow, there's like something really cool. This is heavy. This is cool, And it wasn't, sort of the Van Halen tapping, and Eddie, of course, being the inventor of that, and then the gazillion other people that copied that. And here's Dave, who's really got a unique, very heavy but intricate way he plays, right? So there's this connection I have with him. So, long story short, when I stand next to him on stage and I look over at him, and I noticed this when I was in San Diego on my first rehearsal back with him, I looked at him and I went, it's 1983 all over again. And I just looked at him and he's, same thing, standing there playing, hair hanging in his face. We're chugging through Symphony and Wake Up Dead and about some classics. And it's as if I never left. So it's not like there's this big gap between us, because we get on stage and my hair's kind of about the same length it was when we did Rust in Peace, right? So it's like we kind of almost look it feels and it sounds exactly the way it was back when we were doing this several years ago.
Oh, this is Mr. Wu-Tang Tennis Shoes.